Hey,
Hey,
I love you.
I love her.
You're a sweetheart.
Imagine a world where those you trust the most
We were pretty close friends for 5 years.
become your worst nightmare. In the case of Fallon Fridley,
Hi, Daddy.
Hi, Daddy.
Hi, Daddy.
I never had any reason to not trust her.
exposed cruelty that no one saw coming.
Do you know that accidents happen all the time?
I do, because I have 4 kids.
Exactly my point. Then cut me some
And then I
slack.
also know.
Shocking revelations that will leave you speechless.
Exactly why my 2 kids are 100% healthy. Have you ever thought about that?
This is a story you can't afford to miss. Welcome back to our channel. Today we're unraveling the case of Fallon Fridley. Join us as we explore every twist and turn of this shocking investigation. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to stay updated on our latest content. Also, share this video to raise awareness about protecting the young ones. Every voice matters. Let's make sure Fallon's story leads to real change. Fallon Fridley's story began in the maternity ward at Memorial Regional Hospital in Hollywood, Florida. Her mother, Kristen, was 5 days past her due date, connected to a Pitocin drip, and the progress was painfully slow. Despite the anticipation of welcoming her child, Kristen found herself alone. Pregnant and struggling with addiction, she was placed in rehab far away from her family. Her mother and sister were racing against time, driving nearly 700 miles to be by her side. They were among the few people still in her life at that time who truly cared. Meanwhile, Fallon's biological father was on the phone, screaming at Kristen. His harsh words sent her blood pressure soaring so high that the nurses threatened to take her phone away. That call would be the last time they spoke, a blessing she didn't realize at the time. Kristen was heartbroken and terrified. She had nothing, no money, no home, and no clear idea of how she would provide for her baby. Yet deep within, she knew she would find a way. The following morning, her labor ended in an emergency C-section. The anesthesiologist congratulated her. She was blessed with a baby girl. The time was 7:28 a.m., and Fallon entered the world as a healthy 10-pound, 3-ounce baby. Kristen overcame her addiction and got her life in order. She got married to Cameron Gant and started a new suburban life in Atlanta, Georgia. Everything was going smoothly until the pandemic hit and threw a wrench in her happy days. On December 9th, 2020, Fallon was now 2 years old, and on this fateful day, her mommy was not there for her. On December 9th, 2020, Kristen began her day with her 2-year-old Fallon. The morning routine was typical. Fallon woke up at 6 a.m., got dressed, and enjoyed her snack and almond milk. Before heading to work, Kristen's husband, Cameron Gant, dropped Fallon off at the babysitter's house around 6:30 a.m. Cameron worked as a landscaper, while Kristen was a veterinary technician for an animal rescue. Since Fallon's daycare was closed due to COVID, Kristen's friend Kirsty Flood took care of Fallon. On December 9th, Kristen received a text from Kirsty around 1:30 p.m. asking if Fallon could stay the night. Although Fallon had never stayed overnight before, Kristen saw no reason to worry. Fallon and Kirsty's 3-year-old daughter Harper were best friends, so it seemed like a simple sleepover. After work, Kristen tried to call Kirsty around 4:30 p.m., but there was no answer. Kirsty later texted that they were at the park and her phone was dying. Kristen found this odd but not alarming. Cameron suggested picking Fallon up, but Kristen decided to wait. She trusted Kirsty. At 6:30 p.m., Kirsty texted Kristen that everyone was home and safe. Kristen asked to FaceTime Fallon, but Kirsty said her phone needed more time to charge. When they finally video called, Kirsty's room was dimly lit, and Fallon seemed a bit groggy. Fallon started showing signs of severe cognitive decline, like refusing to eat or becoming unresponsive. That's a serious concern. Most of us would call for help right away, but that's not what Kirsty did.
She was, and then that's when y'all called, when she had the distant look, I guess, that when you called the ambulance?
She had the distant look. I put her in the tub because shell shock. You know what I mean? That cold water.
Yep.
Sometimes can, just do the trick, just real fast. So she was in her diaper and even still in her socks. And because I don't want to shell shock her too bad. like
Or you just put her in the tub with her socks and diaper?
like literally like sat her down like this, shone the cold water, held her back like the back of her neck like this.
At 9:20 p.m., Kirsty called Kristen, hysterical, saying Fallon had hit her head on a slide and wasn't moving. Paramedics were already on the scene.
I guess, from what I'm understanding, the kid is pretty ill, to this point, but that's what we're trying to find out. I mean, you're saying that she may have taken a little tumble off of a slide, but yet she was still walking, doing things, then went to sleep for a little bit, and then you came and saw her later. And I'm trying to boil up what you're telling me.
She always has
And she just had like a distant look about her, and then now at what point did it go from that to, oh crap, put her and she's unresponsive in the tub?
Have you ever seen a kid do that?
Do what?
This.
I mean, looking to the left or right?
No, like literally like looking at you and then just go like this. And then just stop and not look back.
Okay. So you're saying she looked either left or right, one of the two sides, but just kind of looked up and that was it.
That
No more
freaked
eye
me
contact.
out right there. I was like, okay, that's weird. To me, that just screams like, I don't know. I don't even know. But I know that that's something I'm unfamiliar with. And being a mother, if I'm not familiar with it, just like the CPR thing, that's why we call the ambulance, because I'm not certified and I'm not going to risk someone's life trying to give CPR if I don't know how to do it correctly.
Kristen and Cameron rushed to the hospital, where they spent hours in a small, private room, waiting for news. The doctor's questions about Fallon's health were unsettling, leading Kristen to suspect she might be blamed for the injuries. Kirsty Flood seemed eager to portray herself as a caring and selfless person during her interrogation. Many people who knew her described her as a loving mother devoted to her children.
So anyway, she's always at my home. I feed her, I bathe her, I do everything for her. I try to limit her mom's stressors to the maximum degree, basically.
I was curious too. I was seeing that was pretty good. Do you have like any other pictures of her today?
Oh gosh, I'm all about the pics.
Cool. I mean, can I kind of take a look? I just want to see because I'm just trying to play catch up. So I really appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, I am all here. Let me go make it easier.
And these are today? Okay.
So these are.
Wait a minute, that can't be her. That's your baby, right?
That's
I'm
my.
messing with you.
That's my little stud, Dawson. I love him.
So which one? Okay,
That's
so this is her.
Fallon.
She's a cutie.
And that's my baby Harper.
Oh, what a sweetheart.
Yeah, so I have a 3-row seat. So I put their car seats in the back, and then I put my baby boy, face forward in the middle. Because I've been in 2 really bad car wrecks.
Oh, yeah.
So I try and, I just got that sticker on there today.
However, there's more to her story. Kirsty had a past, one that included a history of battery dating back to 2010. During the interrogation, Kirsty briefly brought up Fallon's stepfather, Cameron.
I don't know him. I know a little bit. Trying to get to know him. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. And that is what has been an issue for me. But you can't go to a mother and say, hey, the man you just married, I understand his past, but, I would maybe look into that a little bit better, or maybe not leave him with him all day on Friday. You understand what I'm saying?
Wholeheartedly, yeah.
That first of all, I would never marry a man with a record like that.
Yeah.
Second off, you're never going to be left with my child.
Whatever Cameron's past might be, the key fact is that he wasn't there when Fallon's injuries happened. Kirsty was. Kristen was informed that Fallon's heart had stopped. She was taken to see her daughter, but it was a nightmare. Doctors struggled to save Fallon, performing chest compressions. Kristen begged and screamed for her daughter's life, but it was too late. Fallon died on December 10th, 2020, with her family by her side. Kirsty and her boyfriend, Jeffrey Myers, were interviewed by police to understand what happened to Fallon on her final day in Kirsty's care.
Let's get into the meat and potatoes of it, okay? She's in bad shape. Like real bad shape.
Like, what do you mean?
Like she might not make it to the night.
What?
Kirsty's rambling has started to work against her. Her own words are boxing her into a timeline where only she and Jeffrey could have been around Fallon when the injuries happened.
So these injuries this child has are not consistent with what you're telling me happened.
How long have you had her today? Just as a point of reference?
Oh my, I can't even believe. How exactly? How would that even have happened?
You tell me, because we weren't there. Were you the only one with the child today?
I was around a bunch of people at the park.
No, when did you get
The child,
today?
were you caring for the child by yourself today?
I always care for her by myself, always.
Okay.
Every day. There's never been an issue, ever.
What time today did you get her? Or yesterday now?
6 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, you had her all day long?
Yeah.
Okay. Something's happened that we're not being told has happened. Because those injuries just don't appear.
There is absolutely nothing that I would ever do to a child, first and foremost. Second off, if you ever look at my kids, they've never been touched, and they never will be.
While Kirsty was being questioned, her boyfriend, Jeffrey Mears, was in another room being interviewed by the same detectives. Kirsty mentioned that Jeffrey and Fallon's stepfather, Cameron, worked together at a landscaping company, with Cameron helping Jeffrey get the job. Jeffrey said he and Kirsty have been together since around 2014 and have lived together since 2017. But since the birth of their 8-month-old son, he's been trying to turn things around. In his interview, Jeffrey claimed he left for work around 5:30 a.m. on December 9th, and when he got home around 5 p.m., the house was empty. After taking a shower, he noticed Kirsty and the kids had returned, likely between 6 and 6:30 p.m. Detectives then questioned him about Fallon's demeanor at that time.
I didn't see her until I got out of the shower. I got out of the shower, and she had already put her to go to sleep. So I didn't see Fallon until she woke up to eat dinner. That's when I saw her.
To bed for like a nap?
Yeah, she was tired. I could hear her crying like she was trying to put her to sleep, go to nap. You know when babies get tired, they start whining or whatever.
Jeff mentions hearing Kirsty putting Fallon down for a nap. After that, he spent time playing with the kids while Kirsty prepared macaroni and cheese. Up to this point, Jeff claims he hadn't interacted with Fallon at all.
So the first time you actually physically saw her was like at 8:30?
I saw her asleep. I saw her napping.
Yeah.
And then she cooked dinner, and then when she made dinner, it was like 8:30, she yelled, "Fallon, come eat." She yelled it a few times. Fallon came right out the room, came and gave me a hug, because that was the first time that I had seen her since I'd been home. Really seen her, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She was fine. She seemed fine. She gave me a hug, sat down at the table, and we tried to get her to eat, and she wouldn't eat, man. I don't know. Kirsty says she deals with that all the time, though, about her not eating. Yeah. So I don't want to know what goes on during the day when I'm not there, but...
So she came out of the room, ran out of the room like normal, everything seemed fine?
I didn't think she was going to even hear her name be called, honestly, because she called it from the kitchen. And you saw what the kitchen is compared to the bedroom.
It's a little bit ways, yeah.
Right, so I didn't think she would hear. She came right out, looked fine, gave me a hug. She made her plate. Both the kids, Harper and Fallon, Holden was already asleep, sat down at the table. Harper started eating. And
Holden's your son, right?
Yes, sir.
You said he's 8 months?
Yes, sir.
And you said Harper's your daughter?
She's my stepdaughter, pretty much. It's her. She has a baby by now, but it's still...
You're being the dad?
Yeah. Yes, she's 4. We're about to be 4.
Yeah, okay.
But, they ate. Harper was eating. And she always likes to brag, saying, "Look, I'm eating all my food. I'm eating all my foods," because we're trying to get her to teach Fallon to do that. And Fallon wouldn't eat. We're like, "Fallon, you don't want to eat. You don't want to eat." We're sitting there, and she's just looking at us. And she does that sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, she's a very quiet child. But this time, like, I'm trying to get her attention, and she's kind of like staring off to the right, like she wouldn't make eye contact with me. Mm-hmm. I thought that was weird, so I'm snapping in her face, and eventually she would make eye contact with me and was coherent, like would understand what I was saying.
Mm-hmm. Even though Jeffrey's and Christie's accounts do tend to add up, There are slight inconsistencies in their stories, and it is these differences the detectives pick upon to decipher the truth from the interrogation. Christy conveniently forgot to mention the smoke break she took between finding Fallon in distress and stepping outside for a cigarette. While Jeffrey and Christy's stories mostly line up, there are slight inconsistencies that stand out. It's these small differences that the detectives focus on, hoping to piece together the truth from their interviews.
So we went back in there, and she was in the same position that we had laid her in on her side, and but she wasn't making any the noise that we had heard from her before. She wasn't doing anything. So I checked her pulse. She grabbed her. She sat her up. We tried to wake her up. She wouldn't wake up. I checked her pulse. She had a pulse. Tried to get her mouth to mouth, because I could tell that it was like she had shallow. It was really, I could barely feel it. You know what I mean? So we're getting her mouth to mouth. We don't know how to get mouth to mouth. We should have taken that class, and we said we were going to take that class too before Holden was born about the CPR, but we didn't know what we were doing, man. So we put her in the bathtub, trying to shock her into waking up. In that situation, I don't know how to handle anything, man. I've never been in a situation like that.
I get it, man. It's scary. It's scary as hell.
And it's not even my kid, you know what I mean? So
I get it. The first time I had to do CPR on a kid, it wasn't my kid. Man, it jacked me up.
Yeah, I don't want to, you don't know your own strength when you're in a situation like that. So you don't want, I was terrified. I didn't want to have anything to do with it. But
so
we put her in the bathtub. She didn't respond to the bathtub. She was only in there for like 15 to 20 seconds maybe. Got her out. I said, let's call 911. Called 911 immediately. The lady walked us through how to give CPR, and then you guys showed up.
Yeah.
It looks like whatever happened to Fallon causing her injuries started before she even sat down at the dinner table.
Was anyone helping Kirsty babysit today, or she was just with the kid by herself?
She was just, as far as I know, she was just by herself.
Okay.
She's been doing this for months now, man.
Like since August, something like that?
I know, since summer, taking care of 3 kids with no issues.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So this is like totally...
Just crazy.
Yeah. I don't know how to feel, man.
It's shocking.
It's becoming clear that Kirsty's focus wasn't really on Fallon's well-being. Either she wasn't that concerned about the child, or her mind was on something else entirely. Despite this, Kirsty seems genuinely confused about why the detectives aren't buying her story. She can't see what they don't understand about her version of events.
I don't even understand.
Did Jeffrey do something?
Absolutely not.
Because you're saying during the whole day, she's doing fine, everything's great, nothing's going on. All of a sudden at dinner time, she starts acting weird.
That's what doesn't make sense to us.
She counters the allegations by claiming to have live footage that would absolve her from any wrongdoings.
I also have live footage in my home.
Okay. Do you have access to that?
I do.
Okay. What's it recorded on?
Wise.
Wise. Okay, I don't know that one.
It's WYZE. The fact that she has all of that is heartbreaking, but the fact that any of that would ever happen under my watch in my life, it would never happen.
So this Wise recording you have,
Yep.
is it through an app, or is it actually hard recorded to like a DVR or something?
It's through an app.
Through an app.
Yes.
Okay. How do we get access to that?
I have an SD card I could find for you probably. Like, in it, I could pull it out.
Kirsty starts searching her phone for video footage stored in the cloud from her home security cameras. When the detectives realize she's pulling up potential evidence, they quickly move in to keep an eye on things, making sure nothing gets deleted. The footage doesn't seem to show anything unusual, but then Kirsty's phone dies.
I'm gonna try, all right? We gotta keep that charged.
When the detective returns with the charger, Kirsty suddenly shifts gears. She tells him she needs to leave soon because of her kids. It's as if she's trying to refocus the conversation, maybe even to buy herself some time. But the detective isn't about to let her off the hook that easily.
Is that the right one for it?
Yeah. Thanks.
Try to get over yourself, Pete. You need a trench though.
I gotta go soon with my kids.
So far, Kirsty hasn't been accused of any crimes. But from the start of the interview, she's been obsessively trying to prove to the detective that she's nonviolent and would never hurt Fallon. Her constant need to defend herself is raising major red flags. It's like she's trying too hard to convince everyone of her innocence, and that's not going unnoticed.
It's difficult, and I know sometimes it's easy just to lose your cool and things happen, and I get it. I just need to know.
But I would never lose my cool on that level. I would never lose my cool on that level. I don't even have
Grace is Kirsty's pit bull. So far, Kirsty has tried to blame Fallon's stepfather, a playground slide, someone random at the park, and now finally her own dog.
And the only thing is that I could think of is that in the hallway, you know, vinyl. It's vinyl. It's, you know, it's shit. The whole apartment is shit. I mean, you see how I'm under a whole court case with them because of how it's living and how dangerous it is. Because Fallon actually almost stepped on there was a flipboard underneath the sink. She almost stepped on the nail.
To top it all off, Christy's apartment is now also a hazardous place to raise a child.
I mean, there was a little bit of a point where I closed my door. Sometimes I close my door because my kid she'll walk in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. You know what I mean? And yeah, I can admit to that.
When the detective points out that this was before the visit to the park, Kirsty probably realizes her excuse isn't going to work.
My concern is you're the only one that was with them all day. And these injuries happen. And we're saying we have no idea how they happened.
Like, if I could, okay. If I could give you an answer right now that would just solve the problem, I would, but I don't have an answer for you. The only two things I could think of is falling on cement,
Which we didn't see happen.
which we didn't see happen, Grace, my pet,
Which we didn't see happen.
which we didn't see happen either.
Did you hear her cry out at all today?
I mean, I'll hear, Fallon is the most quiet thing you'll ever ask her mom. That kid doesn't cry.
Yeah.
While the detectives are out of the room, Kirsty frantically texts someone. When they come back, she points out a spot in the video feed from her home cameras. The footage shows Fallon at around 7:56 p.m. Kirsty thinks this proves her story is true, but in reality, it just seems to support Fallon's parents, or even a stranger at the park. It also throws Kirsty's playground slide theory into doubt.
How can I get a copy of the video?
That's holding. Right there.
Okay.
In the little jumper. That's Fallon. Looks like right there.
Where's Fallon then?
Someone just gave him a kiss. Let's go to the lows. Did you just see that?
Go back.
Ghost.
No, I think it's just things floating around.
No, it was ghost.
It was a flyer mob or
It
something.
was, okay.
What time is showing there?
This is 1956-25. What is
Okay,
that?
so almost 8 o'clock.
Military time.
This crucial piece of information gave the detective a clear timeline. Now things are starting to fall into place. Whatever happened to Fallon clearly took place after 7:56 p.m. on the night of December 9th. Kirsty explains that she tried several times to get Fallon to eat, but the child wouldn't. She also tells the detectives that Fallon's mother was on FaceTime with Fallon until Kirsty's phone died. After that, Kristen called Jeffrey's phone. This all happened after 8:10 p.m., and the 911 call came in at 8:59 p.m.
You don't think that she was like, I don't know, I'm just trying to think about like different scenarios maybe, that she was laying there for a little bit and You know, what does that mean?
They happened recently,
What is recently?
like today.
Kirsty and Jeffrey are the most likely to have the answers to the questions everyone is asking. The other detective returns, this time with a third female officer. She has the same camera system as Kirsty.
Is there a way to get a link for the video?
I haven't tried that. You can just share right here. You can share the camera, like add new users, which I don't think is quite the same thing. It's app based. I don't have access to the website, so I don't know.
It's pretty cool though.
Yeah, it's a good camera. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I've had
Can
it
you
for a few
ask, or
years.
can you see if you can get the sound to it now?
Yeah,
What's
let me
the, and just,
Well, she said it knows what I know from the sound in the bottom left, but it's got bumpers. Sometimes they're slow because
It's
they're
very- that's
Wi-Fi
it.
based.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, it's $30.
But say we want to get a copy of the video from today.
Let me get back to you on that. Give me a second to kind of.
Do you know what
play
your
around.
hours of calendation is? Like you usually or whatever?
I would have to get that for you. Here, I just showed you the full video.
Yeah, but
I don't want you accessing my, then that way you could like literally watch me at any time.
Well, all I want is from the time, like from 6 a.m. until,
I just showed you the whole thing.
well, we saw part of it, but when we're scrolling through, it's choppy because we're not actually being able to watch the whole thing. You hear what I'm saying?
We just did this.
We did, and when we stopped scrolling for dinner time, it went by itself.
The detectives want a copy of the stored video recording, and they also want to enable the sound, just in case they're missing something. Hearing what happened could give them valuable insights. Kirsty, however, doesn't seem to understand why this information is needed. It's clear that if she were truly innocent, she would cooperate easily with the detectives. But instead, she hesitates and acts like she doesn't get it. Eventually, Kirsty agrees to email the full video to the detectives once she gets home.
I hate to say like anything against Cameron, but like, you're a father, right? Okay. If you're wiping some random kid's tata and they go, Dada. Would you think that's weird? Okay. She does it all the time.
Kirsty keeps insisting to the detectives about how good she is to Fallon and how much she does for her. She then shifts back to talking about Fallon's stepfather, Cameron. This theme repeats in both Kirsty's and Jeffrey Meyer's interrogations. Kirsty claims that Cameron did time for some pretty early stuff. Kirsty's claims are troubling, but she has been caught in several lies and has changed her story multiple times during her interviews. Her boyfriend Jeff does the same in his interrogation. Cameron was also nowhere near Fallon when the injuries occurred. While Cameron's past charges are concerning, they don't align with Kirsty's claims or the injuries Fallon sustained under her care. Kirsty's attempts to shift suspicion onto Cameron aren't working. Whether Cameron is a good person isn't something I can decide, but it's clear he didn't kill Fallon. After discussing Kirsty's allegations about Fallon's stepfather, she asks when they'll get an update on Fallon's condition.
Where's Jeff?
He's over there. He's in the other room.
So what are you saying?
I'm trying to figure out who hurt this child.
Neither of us hurt this child. Maybe you should
How did
go.
this child get injured then?
I don't know how she just
was
got
with you
injured. You
all
just
day.
saw videos of her running around and fine. What else
And
do
I
you
get
need?
that that video doesn't show the whole other part of the house.
Why else? Okay, if she's so injured, why would she be running around like that? Have you ever thought about that? An acute injury? Don't you
So-
think she would be laying down?
So you tell me,
If she was hurt, wouldn't she be laying down?
what could have happened when you took her off screen?
So you think I took her off screen, went and beat
I don't
her,
know. I need.
and everybody else was just running around fine? Does that make sense to you?
Crazy things have happened.
At this point in the interview, things start to heat up. The tension rises as the detectives press for more answers and Kirsty's story unravels.
Why would I say that? What? Come on, man. Don't do this to me. Don't ruin my life.
I'm not ruining your life.
No, you're on the cusp.
I'm trying to figure out
am
what
a
happened with
mother.
this baby. I understand that.
No,
I'm trying to figure out what happened with this baby.
I did not do anything to that little girl. And you are not about to ruin my life over that. And I have helped her mother, and I've been there for her, and I've done all of this, and you're gonna sit here and you're gonna tell me, do you think I hurt this little girl?
I don't know what happened with this little girl. I just know she was with you, and now she's injured to the point where she might not make it.
When she kept denying everything, the detectives finally showed her the pictures.
No, I don't, because it's gonna make me sad.
Are you sure? Because I can show you. Do you want to see?
Yeah, go ahead.
Those weren't in your photo.
Exactly what she had. Exactly what she had in that picture. And the only thing that she had in that picture.
But what she didn't have in that picture, that is your picture,
Right.
right? From today. That's from today.
Right. I don't know what you're trying to do to me, but this is like literally.
I'm trying to get to the
insane.
bottom of what happened with this child.
Well, those right there, they bounce. There's a metal bar right there too. You ever thought about that?
Okay, did you see that happen?
Do you know that accidents happen all the time?
I do, because I have 4 kids.
Exactly my point. Then cut me some
And then I
slack.
also know that this injury that doesn't happen just appear out of nowhere.
Exactly why my 2 kids are 100% healthy. Have you ever thought about that? You ever thought about that?
Yeah, I thought about it.
Okay, then think about it a little bit harder.
But maybe you need to think about you're the only person with her, and she's injured like this.
I did not hurt that little
You wanna talk to
girl.
her? What's that? You want to talk to her?
Yeah, I was just getting a couple things down.
I need to go get my children.
Okay, just give it a second. We're actually getting one other thing. We're running something through, and we'll let you know here in just a second.
As Kirsty's temper rises, the detectives switch up their questioning. The confrontational detective steps out, allowing the other detective to de-escalate the situation before Kirsty can ask for a lawyer. The second detective reassures Kirsty that they want to wrap things up soon, then steps out of the room. The new detective asks Kirsty to share her theory on what happened to Fallon.
What's your theory? That's what I'm asking you. How did this child sustain these injuries?
The only thing I could think of, like I told him, is falling.
At the playground.
No, not at the playground. Other than literally walking on the cement, holding Harper's hand while I'm carrying a car seat, walking up to my car and like tripping because this baby doesn't cry. Like I told him 1,000 times. She doesn't cry. She just gets back up.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
So Harper pulling her, because Harper is 4, doesn't realize it, pulling her, she could fall.
Where is this at?
Boom!
Is this-
Morgan Falls.
Okay, fair enough.
The sidewalk walking all, and I parked way over the side.
So this is going on the sidewalk.
Yes.
I got you. So she's fallen down onto the concrete there, and your 4-year-old doesn't know any better. She's just kind of
Picking her back up and keeping it moving. That's what she
keeps
does.
falling down. Does this happen over and over? I guess.
Fallon falls all the time.
Okay. I mean,
Ask
that's
her
why I'm
mom.
asking you. I wasn't there.
Her mom. Ask her mom. That kid falls.
But that's what I guess what I'm asking you. So during that time, she kept falling down, kept falling down,
She
kept
didn't-
falling.
it wasn't like she just repeatedly kept falling down.
Okay. I guess that's what I'm asking. Saying a parking lot doesn't even have a vinyl cover, so
I'm talking about inside my apartment.
Oh, very good. Okay. So
I'm talking about all the possibilities because you're asking me for all of them.
Well, I mean, but I'm being specific. You're saying that she had fallen down in the parking lot, and your kid, and that's okay. But that's what I'm asking. It's like, did she
In
do
the
so?
parking lot?
Yeah, at Morgan Falls. That's what I understood you to tell me.
In the side, okay, anywhere we go, Harper wants to hold her hand. Yesterday we went to the playground, she wants to hold her hand.
Right.
They always hold hands. So she, will walk with her and hold her hand or whatever, and a lot of the times Fallon will fall.
Okay, that's fine.
The detective senses that Kirsty is close to asking for her lawyer, which would end the questioning for now. To prevent this, it's crucial that the conversation shifts away from confrontation. The detective starts showing his own human side, admitting that he makes mistakes. This approach is meant to build rapport and keep Kirsty talking.
A lot of the times, these, my daughter busted
And what
both
I'm
of her
asking you is
knees.
like, again, because of the seriousness of her
Yes,
injuries
yes.
today, when you were watching the kid, was there anything was like, ooh, I mean, like, I'm probably a substandard dad, but like, I'm scared enough of damn kids that I would watch them. I wouldn't have like alone time or anything. Meaning, I would never shut my door because I'm afraid of what they do to harm themselves. So if they play around, and my two sons, and they do, and one goes running and clips a corner, I know I'm like, oh God, and sure enough, they get bruised up, and I get all that. But I'm saying, did
Okay,
anything stand
I
out
can
to
admit
you?
to maybe not being the best
I'm not
today
saying
because
that,
of
but-
my son and me closing the door because of napping, but if she fell, then how am I supposed to know that?
How are you supposed to know if she falls?
This is the thing. The baby doesn't cry. She doesn't cry. She's one of those kids that's just real quiet, which is another alarming sign. Very alarming sign from the home life.
Okay.
Very, very quiet, doesn't cry, doesn't say much, just always smiling, always happy, the sweetest little thing ever.
Yeah.
So let's say she did fall, she wouldn't say anything. That's what I'm saying. Half the time she doesn't say anything. It's almost like she gets in trouble at home for maybe saying if she did. I don't know. But she doesn't say anything. My daughter is so dramatic. The whole world will hear about it.
All right.
This kid will fall and get up and keep it moving. This kid will get knocked over by my 60-pound pit and get up and keep it moving.
Yeah.
Harper gets knocked over by my pit and is a whole ordeal. You know what I mean?
The detective's strategy works. Kirsty, sensing the shift in tone, starts to soften. She admits that maybe she's not the perfect nanny and that something could have happened to Fallon while she was asleep or not paying close attention. But even as she admits this, she can't resist hinting again at Fallon's stepfather. Kirsty suggests that Fallon's quietness and lack of reaction to pain might stem from something more sinister in her past, subtly pointing the finger back at him. She is clearly hinting that Fallon might be groomed by her stepfather because it is unusual for a toddler to not cry when they get hurt. The detective then proceeds to explain why she is in the interview room and what is involved in a death investigation.
They're looking into as far as they trying to figure out exactly what the injuries and where they were caused, obviously. I mean, you do understand that, right? We didn't just kind of wake up today looking to pick on you. We're trying to figure out how a 2-year-old who really can't speak for herself got injuries. By default, because that's what you do. You care for her throughout the day. That's why we're asking you this. It's not to anger you or to push you in a corner. Or we got to
They told me I'm not when you tell me that I might not get my keys back and I might not be able to get my kid, you're basically telling me.
Well, right now we're having to investigate this case. We can't just, there's things we have to do before we do.
I have neighbors watching my children. You guys just did a search warrant on my house.
Yes, that's correct.
You did, and you didn't find anything to do anything.
Well, you got to wait it out for a second. What I'm telling you is we have to explore all avenues. I'm not gonna lie to you.
What are you waiting on?
I'm gonna check here in just a second, and then I'll see if what the plans are moving forward. But we should be wrapping up here relatively soon.
Wait, I'm so confused. What do you mean you're gonna check?
Well, you check with the lead investigator because I'm not the lead investigator, so I can't tell you exactly what's going on with this because it's the best way I can describe it to you.
In the other interview room, the detective tells Jeff that Fallon is still alive, even though he had previously been told she had died. He describes Fallon's injuries in detail. Jeff reacts as if there's no way Kirsty could be to blame.
I'm not just trying to stick up for my fiance because it's my girl and my baby and my mother or anything like that. This girl does not lay her hands on these children. I can tell you that. I promise you that. I've been a witness to her being a mother to her daughter since she was 1, and I've not seen her spank her, not one time. So with these injuries, I don't know what happened with Fallon. We love Fallon like she's our own little girl. Like, I just show you pictures where we spend time with her like she's our own kid. So, well, this is completely baffling to me. I don't know where that would come from or how or anything like that. I know that she was sick and her family or her father was, or stepdad was sick or whatever. That's the only thing I know.
Yeah. Well,
Jeff repeats what happened from the moment he got home. Then the leading detective asks Jeff if Kirsty has ever hit the kids.
you say you never saw Kirsty ever smack, hit anything to a kid.
One sec.
None of your children never saw her at Fallon.
Well, Holland's only 8 months old, so that's, but Harper, like I said, sir, I've been in, that's not my kid. So I don't discipline, I don't do anything like that. I let her handle it because I feel like that's right.
Fair enough. I'd probably do the same thing.
She grounds her, she takes away things. She may yell at her, she may curse at her, but I've never seen her lay her hands on her, not one time.
Yeah.
Not in the almost 4 years that I've known.
And you weren't home when Fallon actually got there this morning, right? You were already at work.
Yes, sir.
All right.
The detective leaves the room only to return a little while later with the news that Fallon Fridley has passed away.
And I think now's the time. If there's information that we know that has not been told to us, now's the time. Because it's now or never.
This was a strategic move by the detectives. They wanted to reinforce the gravity of the situation to Jeff, that he should not become an accessory in a murder investigation. If there is something he wants to admit, he should do it now, because Jeff is still not ready to throw his beloved fiancés under the bus. Jeff insists that he and Kirsty treated Fallon like their own child. As the detectives get ready to leave the room, one of them raises the topic of disciplining children.
It is. That's what I'm telling you. I've got kids too. I've had all my kids obviously are beyond 2, but what I'm telling you is that
Before I even touch the whole discipline thing, but you know, my son's not old enough yet, so
right. And find out what's going on, and we'll keep you up, and we'll try to hurry up as much as we can. But obviously, you can tell this is
serious.
Not something. Yeah, this is something small. So, this is fine.
The detective tried one last time to help nudge Jeff in the right direction. He admitted to losing his cool with his own kids and believes that spanking a kid once in a while is fine in his opinion. But Jeff did not take the bait. He maintained that he had never seen Kirsty raise her down in any child. In the other interrogation room, the weight of the investigation is clearly wearing on Kirsty. With her home now a crime scene and a search warrant out for her car, reality is hitting hard. It's becoming evident that the police view her as the prime suspect in Fallon's tragic death. Feeling the walls close in, Kirsty reaches out to her mom, seeking the comfort and support she desperately needs. The detectives know they don't have to play by all the rules. They've misled Kirsty into thinking Fallon is still alive from the very start of the interview, a strategic move to keep her talking. If Kirsty believes a murder charge is off the table, she might confess to a lesser crime, thinking it's not as serious. But if she realizes Fallon didn't survive, that hope disappears, and she's far more likely to clam up and ask for a lawyer. As long as Kirsty holds on to that sliver of hope, the detectives know she'll keep talking. But now it's time to take the sliver of hope from her. The detectives return with grave news.
You actually on the phone with someone?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
What is this?
This is a search warrant.
For what?
We're going to seize your phone.
What?
Yep.
You can't. What?
Yep.
It's a valid search warrant, so I'm
Valid
going to
search.
judge. So we need to take your phone.
So how
Here's
does...
the deal. I just called the doctor, and Fallon is dead.
So, I guess, how long are you gonna have my phone for?
Probably as long as it takes for us to process it, which could be 24 hours.
Okay, so when I come back here and get it?
Yeah.
We'll contact you to release it back to you.
Because I have Jeffrey's number. I can call him and y'all can come back and get it then.
The tension in the room spikes as Kirsty asks for just a little more time to jot down a few phone numbers from her phone before handing it over. The detectives, already on high alert, quickly suspect that she might be planning to delete something important. evidence that could reveal the truth about what happened to Fallon. Acting on instinct, they move in swiftly, reaching for her phone before she can make any sudden moves.
I actually have quite a few things I have to write down.
Well, here, let me, before you go.
I have
Listen,
a psychologist appointment
We're
tomorrow.
going to give you these things back, but we're not going to allow anything to be manipulated right
It's
now.
not gonna be
okay?
manipulated.
So just, we're
It's
going
under
to get
custody
back to you
now.
right now, okay?
Kirsty's in her custody right
I
now.
have a psychologist appointment tomorrow. Do you not
Okay,
understand that?
We
I
do
think-
understand
yes,
that.
No,
so
you
we can
don't.
get you to this.
No, you don't.
Right
Okay?
now, our main
But I
priority
am
is
nurse,
investigating.
You just took it out of my phone. Out of my hand.
I did,
Okay.
yes.
Search
You
warrant
have
now.
your phone number.
We
So-
know.
Oh, aren't you lovely?
So, okay, we'll be right back with you, okay? So,
At one point, you can hear Kirsty screaming from the other room. This is when things got intense in her interview, especially when the leading detective served her with the search warrant and took her phone. Both Christie's first interview wrapped up soon after that, and she was released while the investigation into Fallon Fridley's death continued. On December 11th, Jeffrey Myers and Kirsty Flood returned to the police station for more questioning about what happened on December 9th. Kirsty thinks she's just picking up her phone from the detectives. However, during her second interview the day before, the female officer who requested her presence did so calmly and without threats. She claims that at her brother's request, she persuaded Kristen to go into detox before Fallon was born. Kirsty also asserts that Kristen has been clean ever since. She continues to make unsupported claims about Fallon's stepfather, Cameron, and insists that her care for Fallon was purely out of love. Kirsty mentions she deactivated her Facebook account due to online hostility regarding Fallon's death. The conversation shifts when Kirsty is asked whether Fallon is a picky eater. This leads back to discussing the CPR that was administered to Fallon.
I tried to make her feel like my home was like her home. I tried to make her feel so special. She and her mom said she wouldn't even cuddle with her when she'd come in my house in the morning times. A lot of times she would come and just cuddle with me in the bed. Like literally lay there with me for like an hour or two. We wake up sweating together. That's how close we were. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then everyone that came over, like my mentor came over on Tuesday, and he was like, he's shocked when I called him. He's like, oh my God, that girl loved you so much. I'm so sorry. He's like, I could just see it. He's like, she just was so happy and so sweet, but she was so quiet. That's a problem. She never ever cried. She didn't have anything to say. She just so quiet.
Kirsty tries to convince the officer that she's incredibly patient and surrounded by supportive people. She also insists that she regularly reports suspected child to the authorities.
But I also am in sobriety, and I also have a mentor. I also have a therapist, and I also have a psychiatrist.
You have a lot of support.
I have a lot of support.
Yeah.
You know,
That's really important.
I have a lot of people who are willing to go to war for me for this. They know that, I mean, anyone that knows me knows that I'm absolutely incapable of.
Kirsty recounts the events leading up to the moment she and Jeff went out for a smoke. They left Fallon unattended for about 10 to 15 minutes, and when they came back, Fallon was completely unresponsive.
I was like, Fallon, you okay? Fallon, Fallon, Fallon. She just, and then I pick her up, limp. And I'm like, oh my God.
Now put yourself in her shoes. What would you have done? Obviously, it's a no-brainer you call 911 immediately.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I knew. I knew right then, no matter what we had to do, we had to call the ambulance.
Kirsty's story is all over the place and inconsistent. This is not what happened. That's not what she said yesterday. She completely skipped the part where she dumped the kid in the cold bath. She tells the interviewer that she likes her energy and feels that the original detective didn't give her a fair chance. Kirsty is concerned about her own record and continues to cast Fallon's family in a negative light.
You can't pull something out of nothing. You know what I mean? So, you can't just, I know it's a state where it's like innocent proven until proven, whatever this
innocent until
is.
proven guilty.
Yeah, but you know, that's just bull, because if you put that on my record, and I do, which I will, get, you know, proven innocent, if it goes down that route, it's still going to be on my record.
Kirsty is left alone in the room for a bit. Then, A new, more official-looking detective walks in with the female officer she met during her last interview. As Kirsty starts to mention that she has a lawyer, she realizes that she's not there to get her phone back. This moment marks a significant shift in the situation for her.
Listen, I'm Detective Mike Burson. I'm kind of assisting in this whole case.
I thought I was just here to keep our phone.
You are. And I ran down there, and they just about got your phone. You didn't have a property receipt, so it's kind of hard to find it. When you have a property receipt, they can pull it that quick. So it's just going to take a couple minutes, okay?
I'm so exhausted.
I know.
Mentally. You don't understand. My heart hurts so bad. Go ahead.
I understand. I really do. And I want to make this as fast as I can, okay? All right? Okay. All right. Listen, just because we're gonna
I have
talk
a lawyer. Do you need to talk to him? I'm not supposed to talk to anybody.
So you're not going to talk to me?
I mean, it just depends what we're gonna talk about. I just spent a lot of money on a lawyer for a reason.
Okay, so you have a lawyer.
The lady made me feel like I was somebody I am not, and I am not gonna be made to feel that way ever again. So my lawyer, that's why I got a lawyer, the way he treated me last night.
Okay, so what you're telling me, you retained a lawyer,
I
correct?
did. I'll give you his phone number.
Okay, no, that's okay. Okay, then I can't talk to you.
And yeah, for sure.
Okay, all right. I mean, that's
He has all the live footage and everything too.
No, I saw the live footage, but no, if you have a lawyer.
You saw it was great, right?
Yeah,
Thank you.
but I can't talk to you anymore now since you got a lawyer,
I'm
okay?
just saying, sir, please.
When authorities searched Kirsty's phone, they uncovered something chilling. On December 9th, the day Fallon suffered her fatal injuries, Kirsty searched these disturbing phrases. What type of people enjoy abusing other people's children? And what does it mean to have a sudden urge to beat a child that's not yours? This was just hours before she asked if Fallon could stay at her house.
All right, Kirsty, just swing over here this way. Just move your legs out this way.
Why?
Because I gotta put this on you. Okay?
Why?
Because.
I have not. No. You're not about to jam me up right now without. No. I never gave you any information about my lawyer. So you can't detain me.
Yeah, we can. You're under arrest.
You're
For what?
You're under arrest.
For what?
The camera feed from Kirsty's home provided further insight into how Fallon sustained her injuries. In a stunning twist, Kirsty's mother, Karen Flood, was also indicted for influencing a witness. It was alleged that she engaged 3-year-old Harper Flood in misleading conduct to prevent her from providing information to Sandy Springs PD about Fallon's murder. Initially, Kirsty and Jeff pleaded not guilty. However, on March 18th, 2024, Kirsty Flood changed her plea to guilty and was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Jeff accepted a guilty plea deal for murder in the second degree and received a 15-year sentence. Their pleas spared Kristen from a lengthy trial, bringing some measure of justice for Fallon. Kirsty is serving a life sentence at Pulaski State Prison, while Myers got 15 years and will be eligible for parole in 2036. He is at Georgia Diagnostic and Classification Prison. Despite this, the battle wasn't over. The Department of Family and Children Services, DFCS, placed Harper Flood in the care of her nearest relative, Karen Flood. 6 years after Fallon's birth, Kristen had everything she once only dreamed of. From being homeless, she now owned a home. From being without a car, she now had one she was proud of. Her career was fulfilling, her relationships with family had been mended, and she was surrounded by true friends. She had a beautiful baby boy and a loving relationship, more than she could have imagined 6 years ago. But what's missing now is Fallon, the little girl who gave her the strength and determination to turn her life around. The only hope she clung to was that one day she might be strong enough to help others facing similar pain. But that day had not yet come. For all of us, this case demands reflection on our own roles in safeguarding those around us. Let the story of Fallon Fridley be a catalyst for change, an urgent call to protect every child and ensure that such tragedies are never repeated. Thanks for watching. If you found this story impactful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you never miss an update. Stay tuned for more stories that matter, and remember, every voice can make a difference. See you in the next video.